It's been almost 40 years since the original Super Mario Bros. Released back in 1985, and ever since then, Mario has become Nintendo's biggest franchise and mascot. For every 5 years, Nintendo always held a big celebration that keeps getting bigger and bigger, from the 20th anniversary to the 25th, to the 30th, to the 35th, and soon, the 40th anniversary. So it's no surprise that Nintendo will go big with it, and I have a lot of predictions about what might happen in this big event. And to start off with, my prediction is a Mario variant of Switch 1 and Switch 2. Nothing much to say about it other than it's just Switch 2 with a Mario coat of paint on it that could release in late 2025. Another thing that could happen during the 40th anniversary is a special event held in Nintendo Museum to commemorate Mario's history with games, items, relics, exhibits, and other things to celebrate the series' long history and how it came to be. Next up on my list of predictions is a brand new 3D Mario game, which isn't the most shocking thing that could happen, especially for the 40th anniversary. In fact, it's one of the most likely things that could happen since it could work great as a first year launch title for Switch 2, and not counting Bowser's Fury, it's been more than 7 years since Mario Odyssey came out, so Nintendo would have been working on it by now. One of the other things I think will most likely happen for the 40th anniversary as well is a new Mario Kart game, or Mario Kart 9. It will most likely happen not only because we haven't had a new Mario Kart game in a long time, but also because it would work well as a launch title for Switch 2 or whatever the new Switch console would be called. Okay, so edit from the future here. After being done with writing the script for this video, Switch 2 has already been announced along with Mario Kart 9 being announced as well. So hey, at least I was right on that. Anyway, back to the video. So I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo does announce both it and the new 3D Mario game as a launch title for the new Switch console, or Switch 2 if it's called that now. It's been a real long while since we got a new Mario sports game since Strikers Battle League, so for my next prediction, I predict that we will either get another sports game similar to Sport Mix or baseball, with my guess being the latter, which could also help fill the gap for a new sports game which hasn't been filled since the last one back in 2022, and it could also be worked on by Camelot or anyone else since they haven't been working on any Mario games for a while now too. Another big prediction I have is that for Luigi, we could get an HD port of Dr. Luigi along with Luigi's Mansion. With Dr. Luigi, it was an eShop exclusive on the Wii U, which was sadly discontinued back in 2022. Unless you bought it before then, you have no chance of playing it nowadays. So a remastered port of it, along with more content, including the ability to play as Dr. Mario, would make sense, especially releasing it physically. As for Luigi's Mansion, I could see the 3DS remake of the first game ported over to Switch instead of the GameCube version, because Nintendo has done this before with Dark Moon, and the 3DS itself is a better choice since it added a ton of features to the game that makes it better than the original, like replaying bosses for example. Plus, it would be a good way to drive up hype for a potential fourth Luigi's Mansion game that may get announced for a release date for sometime in 2026, or in the near future. One other prediction that I have that could potentially happen is Nintendo announcing a list of games that could release for NSO Online to tie into Mario's 40th anniversary, including Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, Mario Party Advance, Wario Woods SNES, Mario and Wario, and Mario Paint, with the last two especially having a better chance of coming to NSO, with evidence from a few months ago that suggests that NSO could be getting a mouse accessory later down the line. But Mario isn't the only character to have his own anniversary soon, as for both Yoshi and DK, the latter just starting in November, will also have stuff planned for their respective anniversaries in mind. For both Yoshi and DK specifically, I predict that we can get other games for the NSO, including Donkey Kong Country Trilogy for the Game Boy Advance, DK King of Swings, Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Color, Diddy Kong Racing, Yoshi's Safari, Yoshi's Cookie, DK94, and Yoshi's Topsy-Turvy. For Donkey Kong himself, we can get Smash 64 for NSO, as well as either a new game and a remake of Donkey Kong 64, or we can just get a new game and DK64 for NSO. The reason why I think Donkey Kong 64 might get a remake someday is because there seems to be a pattern where Nintendo releases a remake or remaster of a game that isn't on NSO, like with Super Mario RPG, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red, and Mario vs. Donkey Kong, for example. So depending on if Nintendo releases Donkey Kong 64 on NSO or not, I could see Donkey Kong getting a remake along with the build up for a new game, though that could change at any time. As for Yoshi, I could see him appearing in Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios alongside Daisy, and having some of the games he had a major part in get remastered, including New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Super Mario Galaxy 2, and especially Yoshi's Woolly World, since like Dr. Luigi, it's one of the few Wii U games that hasn't been ported over to Switch yet that has a very high chance of joining it. So for that reason alone, it would have been shocking that it would be joining Switch sooner or later. As for Mario Galaxy 2 and New Super Mario Bros., I could see them either releasing it separately on their own or in collections similar to 3D All-Stars, maybe even in a re-release of it as well. Though I really doubt it, since Super Mario 64 is already on Switch. Still, regardless, it could release in some way, shape, or form. I hope so, because I really want to play the games again sooner than later. Speaking of Universal Studios, they're also going to gear up for Mario's 40th anniversary as well, with special events held in their parks, releasing new merchandise exclusive to Super Nintendo World, and even promoting Mario Movie 2 as well, along with both Illumination and Nintendo. They're also going to make an announcement for a third Mario movie next year, as well as a potential Mario spin-off movie, which could either star Donkey Kong or Luigi. My guess it could be the latter first, since it could tie in with the new Donkey Kong Country theme park that recently opened last year as the Universal Studios Japan, as well as the attention that Nintendo has been giving him lately as well. While this next prediction isn't entirely related to Mario himself, it's still connected to the series nonetheless. So in this prediction, I predict that we could be getting a new Smash Bros. Title for Switch 2 sometime this year or next year that could be very different compared to all the other titles before it, with newcomers including the one from the Mario series, and stages that could tie into the new 3D Mario game and the new Mario Kart game as well. As for everything else, there could also be a 40th anniversary art book, pins, clothing, manga, the rest of the other Wario games added to NSO, like with Wario Land 1, 2, 4.
Look guys, look, it's one of my greatest achievements, Wario Land 4 on Nintendo Switch Online.
And WarioWare Twisted, Amiibo, Mario music albums added to NSO, alarm sounds from past Mario games added to Alarmo, Lego Mario sets including minifigures, special Mario events in all of Nintendo museums, a new Mario TV show, more merch including collabs with other different companies, a novelty item like the Mario Game & Watch, and much, much more. So to top it all off, my last prediction is that we'll get a Nintendo Direct solely focusing on the Mario 40th anniversary, similar to the 35th anniversary one from 2020, that will release sometime this summer of this year, or on March 10th for Mario Day, and showcase some of the predictions I already mentioned, and even a real showcasing made of the Mario games that came out over the years. If some of this or all of this happens, then we could be seeing the biggest year Mario has ever had in a very long time. So that's for all I have to say for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching. Bye.